Hello and welcome to yet another video, and in this video it's about the Canon EOS M10 again, but it's a requested video. So after a few weeks ago when I released my review video of my Canon EOS M10, I got like a couple of requests from my viewers asking me about if I can do a vlog video, which I'm doing right now. It's being filmed on the Canon EOS M10 right now, and another video which is thing about color preference, like my color settings that I prefer on the Canon EOS M10 or something like that. So I'll be doing that in this video as well. So the first part is vlogging, so you're actually watching me vlog with this camera right now. I am using manual mode on this camera, so the settings, everything is on manual. I even set the focus on manual. And with the focusing, it's not that I don't trust the camera autofocusing system, but being a filmmaker for quite a few years now, I actually started off with DSLR filmmaking way before autofocus was even possible with DSLR cameras. So I got used to manual focusing, and when you're used to something, it's kind of hard to change. You know, like I even have my Canon 70D. I know how amazing that camera can focus, but I still switch it to manual focus. So, you know, you get the idea. So yeah, I actually kind of don't know what to talk about on vlogs because I don't know how to vlog, and I never really tried seriously vlogging before. So I guess being in my room, and I'm feeling really sick because I'm slowly recovering from my sickness that I got from my friend. But being like still feeling too sick to actually go outside, I think it's just like to pick a topic would be maybe show you my new room. So it's actually my new place. For those of you who have watched my videos before or have been subscribed to my channel for like some time now will know that I used to live in Delft before, and before that I used to live in Amsterdam. I am not Dutch, as some of my viewers have asked or have tried to communicate it to me in Dutch, but I am just studying here in the Netherlands. I am a German student here, so I guess you could say I understand some Dutch, but I'm not Dutch still. Nothing against Dutch, I'm just making the point that I'm not Dutch, so hopefully I'll get less Dutch messages because I am not fluent in Dutch. That's all. Sorry. So yeah, my new room. If you followed my videos before, you'll know that these pictures look really familiar because I tend to put, I don't know. I usually just like to put my, pictures that I've taken on my wall, and these pictures are pretty much older pictures. If you've seen my videos from from the time when I used to live in Amsterdam, in Delft, or even from some of my videos when I did some reviews back at home in Germany, you'll know that these are pretty old pictures. And I also have it on my table right here, well, on the wall, and my working table, which is here. So I'm just looking at the screen, making sure that everything is in frame. Again, I'm not used to vlogging. Over here, there's a chair with a bucket. The bucket was for the time when I had like a big dinner thing with my friends. It's not really big. Originally, it was supposed to be big because it's like my new house, well, new room that I just rented. And we all had to cook, like, well, not had to, but we all were pretty much cooking Asian food. So one of my friends just got me like really, sorry, my English is not good. So she got me like a lot of flowers, and I guess she knows that I also like flowers. My favorite flower is actually white rose. So yeah, the only place I can put it in was actually in this bucket. So yeah, school bag. This is the big one if I want to go groceries after lectures or after tutorials or practicals at uni. I know that I have to do groceries after that, or if I want to take pictures after that, I usually put my camera in there or just have the big bag so that I can do groceries afterwards. Otherwise, I also take the smaller school bags because for the rest of the time I don't need the bigger ones. But yeah. Table, my phones, my 5D Mark III on there, and the lens that stays on my 5D Mark III 80% of the time since I got the lens is the 16 to 35. Shelf, wardrobe, that's it, I guess. And where my camera usually lives is actually here in this part of the shelf. So yeah, my main lenses back there, flashes, micro four thirds lenses behind the flashes, microphone there behind the 70D, 5D Mark II, Lumix, GoPro, some prints from the Polaroid camera. Yeah, nothing really special. Down here is more accessories for the camera. So this is for the screw thing for my GoPro. More batteries in there, and underneath that's actually a portable softbox that goes with this. Photo printer, nothing special. My table, try to keep as little things on there. Light stand and tripod for my camera. Yeah, now back to manual focus. Okay, I can't really see anything right now. Sorry, feeling a bit sick, so my visual is not that good. So if it's blurry, I am sorry. It kind of rhymes. Okay, yeah, and that's it. I'm sorry my room is actually really messy right now. I promise I'll be more organized and tidy with the room. Oh, by the way, if you're asking why I have black plastic bag here, is because behind here is actually a kitchen, and this is actually colored glass behind this plastic bag. It's not the glass that you can see through to another room, but it's like colored glass, and it's like 2 times double layered colored glass. So you just can't see, but what you'll see is that if someone turns on the light in the kitchen in the evening, then there would be like light leaks into my room. So I don't want that. That's why I just put this black plastic bags here. I'm planning to actually print out pictures over here, so at least it looks nicer than just having plastic bags here. I think I'm out of focus. I'm not sure. I hope not. Oh. Okay, never mind. Okay, just adjusted my focus. I hope it's back in focus again. So there was a little cut there, so that yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much my room. So now I will be showing you. So the light keeps on changing. It was pretty bright and now it's pretty dark. Sorry, that was just me trying to adjust the focus. Sorry. I hope it's in focus again. As I said, my vision is not that good right now. I am feeling sick, and I think you can kind of hear that in my voice if you've watched my videos for a long time. And this video is also being recorded with the internal mic of the camera, so maybe you can also hear it for yourself how good or how terrible the microphone is. I think it's kind of okay. For professional use, maybe external microphones is always better. But yeah, that has been the little vlog on this camera. And to the next part now, which is color and how I usually set my camera when I take pictures with the Canon EOS M. So as of the camera setting, for the look that I usually go for on the Canon EOS M is I usually just stick with, well, most of the time is either manual mode or aperture priority that I go to. So, but between manual and aperture priority, I usually use aperture priority, so I will be using that. And within this, I usually go to, well, if I can hit quick menu, I usually have my preference on between landscape or standard. But if I'm shooting video, the look I like to go for is set under this one. So this is, oops, sorry. I usually have it set to under -1 sharpness, then -4 contrast, -1 saturation, and just leave the color tone alone because I think it's a lot more natural to go that way. I have no idea why it was on like +2 or +3 or something like that on the sharpness, but it's usually should be on minus. But yeah, as indicated, that usually when the camera comes in like from out of the box, it usually set itself around here from the gray arrow, but I set it -1. Some people actually prefer completely 0 sharpening. This is actually digital sharpening, just to be clear, but I don't like it at 0, at least not on this camera. If it's on my 5D Mark III, then I usually set it on 0. But on the EOS M, I think it looks more natural at around here too, as it says. Yeah, I don't like going auto, so I'm just gonna exit. But yeah, usually in stills, I like to keep it between standard or landscape. Let's go for landscape in this case. It's a little bit more lively, I find, the actual color that you get from the landscape setting on this camera, that is. And then the next thing I like to do is white balance. Usually I like to stay at this daylight white balance. If you go up here and stick it around there, I think it's the most natural. I like to go with the most natural look on the actual camera. I was on auto white balance before because I lent it to a friend, and I think it was safer for him to use the auto white balance, so I just got my camera back, and right after that I'm just on the camera, well, using the camera right now, so some settings will be different, but I tend to stay with this, and this is generally how I just use my EOS M10. This is just the general settings I use. The daylight is my white balance. Landscape is usually my go-to picture profile for stills. The look of the image, I like either extreme sharpness or completely blurry background. So I actually have 2 lenses that I usually use with, which is this one. Here's another one. It's the Canon EF M 22mm. So if I'm using this lens, it means that I'm usually sticking with like f2, which is the lowest aperture on this lens. But since I have the 15 to 45 mounted on this camera, usually what I like to shoot with in terms of aperture is around between f8 and f14, because that would actually allow me to get that star shape from the lights in the sun, because everything is so in focus, and the light that is allowed into the camera is like really small compared to like a really big amount of light that's hitting the sensor. So it's the same principle as if you were to like try and close your eyes but not completely close. You'll see that the lights starts to have like lines in them, if that makes sense. My English is not good, as I said before, but I hope you can visualize what I mean. But yeah, but when you do go for like such a high aperture, it does mean that you're allowing less amount of light into your camera, and depending on the light condition, you may have to open up your shutter speed or raise up your ISO. But since it's really sunny outside right now and this camera is on the tripod, I don't really see the need for it right now, unless if you're if you're after like some sort of effects. Sorry. And otherwise, if I'm shooting portraits, well, definitely I keep it to the lowest aperture. In this case, for this lens is 3.5. I'm gonna get a lot of hate comments for doing this kind of changing lens. Some people like to cover the front of the camera, but yeah. But for example, if I change it to my 22mm, it goes all the way to f2, which is sweet. And I actually like this lens more. The review for this lens is coming soon. Probably be around next week. I hope I'll be fully recovered, if not close to fully recovered from my sickness. If I am, then it's definitely next week for the review of this lens. But yeah, usually I like to go with this lens because of the sharpness that this lens gives me, and for the fact that the look of the image looks really, really nice from this lens, and for the fact that I can go down all the way to f2, which means I can actually get a more blurry background. And with that 35mm full frame equivalent focal length, that means the background will be pretty naturally blurred, if that makes sense, you know. So yeah, that's the look. I don't really like to put artificial looks. I know that the camera will come with like its own mode look that you can adjust, but I personally just stick to aperture priority, everything as natural as possible, and then if I need to adjust certain lights or certain things, I will do it in post. I personally use Lightroom. But yeah, but I'm not a big fan of like filters, toy filters, toy camera filters, things like that. If I'm gonna go black and white, I also will just do it from the picture profile. Wait, sorry, that's the mode. I am getting lost in my own camera. Okay, if I want to go to black and white, I'll just go to monochrome here and adjust everything here by myself. Looks like he changed some of my settings back to the factory settings. Oh well, I can set them back later. But yeah, that's just my look. I prefer it like this. I think it looks much nicer without any filters on there. Like some people for Instagram might prefer filters, whatever. But for me, I think it looks just nicer in general. Like you can also add for like some professional work with just the normal look. If you add filters, it just looks weird, I find. But that's just my personal opinion, and that's my own look. And those were pretty much the requests that I've received from the Canon EOS M10 video. I hope it helps somewhat with the vlogging and my color profile. I know I don't really have a lot of color preference and profile, but that's just how I like to stick it. If you check out my Instagram account, you'll know that I tend not to change my color tone that much. If anything, I'll just make it more saturated in post. If you're wondering which images on my Instagram account is from the EOS M, as of currently, if you look back a couple of weeks, you'll see a lot of black and white images and a lot of sunset images. Those are like generally from the Canon EOS M, and to be honest, I'm actually quite happy with the color and how it turned out. Those are actually the JPEGs, so by the time I was using the camera, my Lightroom was still on the older version, so it didn't have the the camera profile of my Canon EOS M10, which meant that I can't shoot RAW. So all the images of the EOS M10 that's on there are just JPEGs and just a little bit over than the normal file. So what I did with those images were I did a little bit of cropping, like maybe I like pictures a bit wider than they really are. Not to the extent that I would put it to 16:9, but a little bit wider than 3:2 aspect ratio, that is. So I cropped the bottom and the top a little just to have a little bit wider picture, and I just make the saturation on the colors, especially blue, yellow, red and orange. Those colors tend to be a bit more popped out in my images, unless if you're looking at the black and white images, which is black and white. Yeah, nothing special, and I just got in the mail. Yeah, and that is the video now. I am feeling a bit worse right now, so I'll just sign off from now. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comment below. And I'm sorry if this video is not as informative as usual videos. Not that my videos are that informative anyway, but it's just slightly less. This one is also slightly different because it's actually my first video I'm doing requests videos. But yeah, I don't know if you call them request videos. Anyway, before I'm embarrassing myself with my English skills, I better sign off now. If you have any more questions, just leave them down below, and thank you very much for watching and have fun shooting.